Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, what we're going to talk about this morning on this episode of the Bullet Points is how the cat is out of the bag in regards to the Democrats, their disjointed nature, the gun control push, the police push, the progressive and the moderate split. This is massive, and what the source that I'm coming from is from Politico. This is a left-leaning organization, so if they're writing it, you know something's up. Everything is linked in the description box below per usual. And if you guys are new, we are always looking to earn that subscription. We need to get as many people in the fold so we can further our Second Amendment rights together by getting information to you quickly and efficiently. Thank you so much for your consideration. And now, we'll say a quick word from our sponsor for the video, Bullet Safe. And then I'm going to walk you through the disjointed nature and how this cat is screaming out of that bag. Now, if you've been looking for a body armor solution, then Bullet Safe is a company you need to know about. Bullet Safe's ballistic insert is 100% made in the United States. With an NIJ level 3A protection, it can stop up to a 44 Magnum. This is no small potatoes. Comparing to previous models, the VP3 is 50% thinner and 25% lighter. While remaining lightweight and discreet, you can comfortably remain protected while staying in the field. If you could use a 10% discount, use the code Langley10 in the link in the description. Thank you so much to Bullet Safe for making the videos possible so I could bring you this great little piece of goodness. Check this out. Again, always linked, and I want to hear from you guys in the comments. House Dems policing fight reignited by anti-crime push. Well, that's interesting because they're talking about the assault weapons ban that just failed. Leadership had to punt planned votes on the assault weapons ban and law enforcement funding, reopening old wounds caused by the caucus's debate over defund the police messaging. Almost like what we've been talking about together on this channel for about a year and a half to 2 years. They have been trying to distance themselves from defunding the police, which is why this whole AWB, the assault weapons ban, also had police funding. They tried to get the progressive side getting buy-in from the assault weapons ban, and the moderate side and the benefit of appearing not anti-police with the police funding. It is all torn asunder. Check this out, because Pelosi, try as she might, she cannot get her kingdom together. Democrats' hope for a unity movement on public safety bills have been temporarily dashed, becoming yet another flashpoint in the party's fraught fight over policing. Notice how it said unity moment. They didn't say passing the bill. Something that we were hitting really hard on this channel together was the fact that this was an accountability vote. This entire thing was setting up for vote buying, for the ability to say, look what we voted for, but those pesky Republicans in the Senate. It was a political move. That was the entire point. I've got more here. Check this out because it's falling apart gloriously. House Democrats were hoping for the sort of legislation win that satisfied both their progressive base and their most at-risk members, progressives and moderates. The former would get their wish to move forward on a so-called assault weapons ban, and the latter could tout their pro-police bona fides with additional funding for local law enforcement just as they head into a tough midterm election. Even Politico is saying this entire thing was meant to set up the Democrats as an assist in their push in the midterms because they are going to get smoked. We need to show up and send them to where they need to go because we have a chance here to deliver a gut punch to the Democratic Party at the ballot box like has not been seen in our lifetime. It's there we need to activate and become that delivering apparatus, if you will. But in the end, the policing legislation demonstrated long simmering tensions among the Democratic Party, which has never fully settled its internal debate over the defund the police slogan that pummeled swing district incumbents in the last last election. Does this all start to make sense now? What have they been saying forever? A few left-leaning liberals were saying defund the police, but it wasn't the main party. Biden comes out in the State of the Union address and says, fund the police, fund them, fund them. And then the progressives are like, no, don't fund them. This whole thing has been a charade, and we've been talking about it consistently together. They're arriving at what we've been discussing for months. Let's keep going. Oh man, goodness gracious. Passing a policing and public safety package was always going to be a difficult one for Democrats. Skirt. I was under the impression from everyone on the planet that this was a win. The AWB was going to go through. It was a done deal. Finally, Democrats are taking action on common sense gun reform. And yet the whole time it was going to be a difficult one for Democrats? Do you see how they try to play this game of it's absolutely going to happen, look at the credit they get, but it was going to be a hard road anyway, so oh well, we didn't get it. This is manipulation. It took months for lawmakers led by Representative David Cicilline, the guy who said, spare me the BS about your constitutional rights, I will never let that go, to land the votes for even the assault weapons ban, an enormous party priority, with several rural Democrats opposed to the measure. Right, because it's an infringement upon the Second Amendment, but you don't care because you were going for votes. This entire thing was a political electoral manipulation. That's why we focus so hard on this, because these people are, bless their hearts, okay, for my Southern people out there. Moderate Democrats have pushed for months for floor votes to show their commitment to supporting local police. Election showing. And after a scourge of GOP attack ads last cycle portrayed their party as anti-cop and soft on crime, almost like the actual representative of, actual realistic view of what's happening. Even this failure of the bill is showing that the progressives don't want to fund police, which leads to a rising of crime, which correlates to an increase in firearm purchases. This whole thing is tied together. Anyway, let's keep going. Those attacks, according to the Democrats' own campaign arm, were alarmingly potent in key swing districts, and many battleground members believe it cost the party seats in the last election, which narrowed their House majority as they expected to expand it. This entire article is sounding the red alarm because they write to a Democratic reading base. They do not write to a conservative constituency at this outlet. Politico is aimed at a left-leaning outlet. They are letting the cat out of the bag and being like, guys, heads up, here's what was going on. And they're trying to blunt the blow as much as they can, but it's not working because the Democrats are more split than the Republicans are. Anyway, let's keep going. Got one more thing for you. Quote, if it was complete and we thought it could pass, I'd put it on the floor tomorrow. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, Democrat, Maryland, told reporters, quote, if it's not, I'm going to put it in as soon as we can. Translation, I didn't put it out on the floor, and neither did Pelosi, because it didn't have the votes, and the Democrats control the House. If you have the Democrats controlling the House, that can only mean two things. One, it didn't go far enough for them. That's not true, because that's absolutely what they wanted. Or the other means they didn't have the votes because it went too far between the progressives wanting no policing, the moderates wanting to back off of assault weapons bans because it hurts them in the primaries and in the general. This is heading towards a nightmare election for the Democrats, and it's up to us to deliver that nightmare to fruition. That's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments field below, and I will see you tonight at the 9 p.m. segment. I'm Braden. See you later.